Quibi.
Something revolutionary is coming to your mobile device in a few weeks, and CTV News is going to be part of it.
It was meant to be a revolution, a new era of entertainment, built for the phone in your hand. It had $2 billion in funding, the biggest names in Hollywood, and two of the most powerful CEOs in America at the helm. It launched into a world locked down and hungry for content. By all accounts, it should have been a massive success. Instead, it lasted just 6 months.
The short-form streaming service Quibi, the startup is shutting down after just 6 months in operation.
This is the story of how Quibi didn't just fail. It became one of the most spectacular flops in business history. Every great tragedy needs its visionary leaders, and Quibi had two. On one side, Jeffrey Katzenberg, the legendary Hollywood mogul behind Disney's animation renaissance and DreamWorks. On the other, Meg Whitman, the tech titan who built eBay into a global giant. Together, they were the dream team. The pitch was magnetic. They weren't selling a streaming service, they were selling the future, and Hollywood bought it. They raised nearly $2 billion from every major studio and Wall Street giant. They signed up A-list talent like Steven Spielberg, Jennifer Lopez, and Idris Elba. The hype was deafening. They were building a fortress, and they were daring the world not to come in. Quibi launched on April 6th, 2020. The world was in lockdown. People were stuck at home, glued to their screens. It was, in theory, the most perfect launch window in human history. But almost immediately, the downloads stalled. The buzz was negative. The first cracks were not just visible, they were chasms. Quibi's core feature, the mobile-only experience, became its prison. You couldn't cast it to your TV. At a time when people were living in their living rooms, Quibi asked them to huddle around a tiny screen. Their prized turnstile technology, most users found it to be a gimmick they never used. The shows were forgettable. They were stuck in a no man's land. They weren't the addictive, user-generated content of TikTok, and they weren't the epic, immersive stories of Netflix. They were expensive, glossy, and utterly lacking the water cooler moment. What was a Quibi show? No one could answer that. The most damning criticism? The platform had no share function. You couldn't screenshot or record a clip. In an age of viral moments, Quibi was a black box. Nothing got in, and more importantly, nothing got out. As the numbers failed to materialize, the leadership went on what critics called the excuse tour. First, they blamed the pandemic. Then Katzenberg floated a more bizarre theory, that the Black Lives Matter protests had stolen their momentum. The problem with these excuses? Other streaming services, like Disney Plus, were exploding during this exact same period. The world wanted content. It just didn't want Quibi. The desperation began to show. They started offering 3-month free trials because people refused to pay the $5 a month fee. The fortress they built had no one inside. Just 6 months after its triumphant launch, Quibi was dead. They announced they were shutting down and returning what money was left to their investors. The $2 billion experiment was over. So, what really ended Quibi? The autopsy reveals 3 fatal wounds. It solved a problem that didn't exist. No one was asking for premium short-form content. The market for short attention spans was already won by TikTok and YouTube. The market for premium content was owned by Netflix and HBO. Quibi lived in a dead zone. 2. Catastrophic timing and strategy. Launching a mobile-only service when people were trapped at home was a tragic irony. Their refusal to allow TV casting until it was far too late was a fatal miscalculation. And 3. The arrogance of if we build it, they will come. Katzenberg and Whitman believed their own hype. They thought their names and their money could create a market. They never stopped to ask if people actually wanted what they were selling. In the end, Quibi isn't just a story about a failed app. It's a billion-dollar cautionary tale. A reminder that no amount of money or star power can replace a simple, fundamental truth. You have to build something people actually want. It was a solution in search of a problem. A fortress with no kingdom. A revolution that nobody joined. A quick bite that gave the world of business a serious case of indigestion.